Hi, I'm Chris Burbridge, and if you have some important work that you've been sitting on for a while, or a course you long to launch, or some other beautiful idea, I have a set of thoughts that I think might really help you, and I've compiled them into this program called Launch Courage, which I am having the courage to launch. But I'm going to give just some thoughts here in this video that should be helpful whether or not you take my program. Uh, so have you been almost ready for a long time, and or do you find yourself tweaking the fonts and the colors on your web page, or taking yet another online guru course? Yeah. I think a lot of times what we're doing is we're making excuses because the hardest thing is to actually just kind of like put it out there. And so I've worked with environmental educators, yoga, philosophy teachers, acupuncturists, like lots of amazing people, like too many to name. And I started with helping them with websites. And then what I figured out was they needed to write and communicate. And then when I did that, I figured out that what they needed to do, a lot of times what people need to do is just have the courage to put it out there. And so that's what I'm working on. Okay, so what I want to talk about is heart and hustle. I think a lot of why we don't put things out is for two reasons. Because we try to bite off much more than we can chew, and then we try to do it alone. The real secret is heart and hustle. The real secret isn't like chanting a mantra about like having goals. It's about caring for other people, putting out something beautiful, believing in ourselves, and doing it together. So the heart part is, like cour, which is French for heart, and it's like, because the origin of the word courage. So like having the heart and the hustle to put something out there that matters. And there's a lot of hustlers out there that don't have any heart. And then there's a lot of heartful people that don't have enough hustle. And us heartful people need more hustle. So that's really in there too. So how do you do it? It's really simple. So you want to pick one simple thing. So like, first of all, there's a great quote from Dan Norris's book, The 7-Day Startup, which is, you don't learn until you launch. So just remember that when you make a choice that you're going to try something out, that's when you'll learn, and you'll actually start to get into conversation with your customer and find out what they need, and get out of our ego that's so terrified that this is this big deal and we won't be loved. So we make it the smallest possible offer that we can think of, and then we narrow it down to what we need this quarter, this 3 months, this little period of time that's long enough to try something but short enough to get to be tangible. And then put that out and don't worry about anything else. The next way that we narrow it down more is that pick one customer, like write out a persona, give them a name, make up some stories for them based on what you know, what you think about them, what are their lives like, what are their pains. So we do that in the program, but you can just write it down. Or Google persona canvas, and there's some pretty cool stuff out there that has like pretty pictures and things that help you to think it through. And then we will actually go out and talk to our customers and start to get into that habit of learning from them. So the more we go into empathy, the more we actually feel, what does this person need? And you actually go into the vibration of service, and we move out of our egos. So we're moving out of, oh my God, it's make or break, they'll like it or they'll hate it, into like, hey, what do you think about this and how can I make it better? And we're moving into service. So we're actually taking apart several parts of the ego's resistance to creating. By the way, I wanted to mention this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, about creating and creational fear. The subtitle of the book is Break Through the Blocks and Win in Your Creative Battles. And so what he says in the book is that things we care most about, that are most precious to us, are the scariest to let out into the world. And it's an amazing book because he really gets you to realize a lot of the time we're just it's that heart piece that we need and that courage to release things. That's really the reason we're not doing it. And so that's a lot of what this is about. So then when we make it simple, we do it together, and we connect with that one customer, you can go into empathy. And then sometimes people ask me, what about all these other customers that I could help? But you can't go into empathy with 5 different types of people at once. You can't understand them. If you try to make something for everybody, you make something generic, and we all know that that's not really where we're going right now. Like, the internet's really good for making things that are specific. And then so we do those steps for about 5 weeks, and then we hustle together for like 6 to 8 weeks, and there's a support forum and buddies and whatever kind of support we need to sort of help us feel like we're not doing it alone. And that's the program. And if you send me an email, I will send you an outline of all the steps for free, and more helpful things if you want them. And then if you're interested in taking the program, it's starting really soon. So message me and I will give you more information and talk to you and see if it's something that you might value and find helpful. Thanks.